Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you halfway through another week. I hope you enjoyed that first week of the Euros. Great way to end it last night with the France-Germany game. Really live up to expectation. Perhaps what Germany were pretty poor, but good win nonetheless for France. I think they are going to take some beating. It's probably no surprise that they are my favourites. Having said that, I did tip Turkey to be the surprise package of the Euros, and given their performance in that opening game against Italy, it's maybe not great to have my backing, but we'll see how Turkey get on against Wales later today. Anyway, let's talk about Arsenal, not too much about international football. A few things to talk about today, as usual. Some of the sort of transfer stories, links, rumours that are doing the rounds. I thought I'd give my take on them, and then also there's the Premier League fixtures that were announced today that makes you feel that little bit closer to the start of the new Premier League season as it draws ever closer. Now, can Arsenal have a few new players in their ranks before that opening game against Brentford, which is a tricky away match, but again, I'll get to those fixtures afterwards. Now, in terms of transfers, as I've said it before, having spoken to a few people in and around the industry at the moment, everyone has the same sense that it's just beginning to get going at the moment. It's been pretty stagnant up to now. Everyone playing a bit of cat and mouse. There's obviously not much money in the game at the moment, certainly in the lower leagues, but even in the Premier League, given what's been going on, and everyone is talking, going to and fro-in, trying to get the best price possible for their players, and that no one's really made that big sort of move that has kick-started it yet. Maybe that will come soon. We'll have to wait and see. But with Arsenal, it's all a little bit slow going at the moment. I know lots of you wanted to see them doing some of their business by now. Nothing big has happened yet, which will be a bit of a frustration, I imagine, to Mikel Arteta. But Mikel did say at the end of last season that he didn't expect things to happen very quickly at the start of the window. Just with everything going on, the money situation, the Euros, it was always going to be a bit slow, and that is how it's proving. And I know plenty of you are frustrated because I get all your questions and your comments on my social media channels. I know you wanted to see the club doing more by now. I think we all did, but it hasn't happened. And the one good thing, I suppose, is no one else is really making any major moves in the market and getting away from Arsenal in that sense. One of the big stories doing the rounds today has come over from France. L'Equipe reporting, again, interest in William Saliba from Marseille. Now, interestingly, L'Equipe were reporting that Arsenal would prefer to sell Saliba rather than loan him if it was decided that he didn't really have a long-term future at Arsenal. Obviously, that hasn't been decided yet. But if that was the case, I'd rather sell him now to get some money in rather than loan. And I'm not sure if that's the case or not. All I do know is that, as far as I'm aware with Saliba, and this is from people at the club and from Saliba's side, is everyone's expecting him to get his chance in pre-season. And that is not to say that he won't be sold. There's no way I can say that a player's not going to be sold. Everyone's got a price, especially in this market when everyone needs money. But Arsenal have always maintained from when they sent Saliba over to Nice, which is why they didn't put a permanent clause in that loan deal to turn it permanent in the summer. They always viewed Saliba still as a long-term project. They said he was going to come back and he was going to get his chance this season under Mikel Arteta during pre-season to impress him, and then Arteta would make the decision as to what to do next with William Saliba. And Saliba's people are still working to that. From that point of view, they believe he's going to come back and he's going to be given his chance to impress Mikel Arteta, and that the priority at the moment is Arsenal. Now, maybe that's changed. I haven't heard that it has. Maybe it has. But that's the situation as I seen it and have seen it for a while. But as I said, I think everyone has got a price. As much as Arsenal probably do still see him as a long-term project, and should he come back and impress in pre-season, which he might well do, then he'll get a really good opportunity to play games this season. But should someone come in and slap some money down on the table right now that is appealing, that would help Arsenal go and get some of the other targets, I couldn't say for certain that they would reject that. It's not the type of market where clubs are going to be turning down decent offers if offers arrive. Everyone needs money to bring in their priority targets. So that's the situation with Saliba. I'm not aware that anything's changed and that Arsenal will be looking to cash in on him this summer, but you never know. You just don't know. And if he did come back in pre-season, had his chance, didn't impress Mikel too much, other players did, and then an offer came in from a Marseille or somewhere else then, Arsenal may well look at that and decide that the best option is to sell. I know that would be really frustrating for everyone. I think when Arsenal signed William Saliba for all that money, and he was viewed as such a almost generational talent in France coming through, it looked like Arsenal had been really smart in the market and done something we'd all been hoping they would do when it comes to transfers. And the fact that they could then potentially sell him without him having played a game a couple of years later just seems absolutely crazy. But we don't know if that is the situation yet. It's just something that's going to have to unfold. We're going to have to wait and see as the window progresses. But as far as I'm aware, nothing has substantially changed, and that Saliba will get his chance in pre-season. But we'll have to wait and see on that. So that's the situation on William Saliba. Interesting story from Charlie Wyatt over at The Sun today, saying that Arsenal want Aaron Ramsdale, the Sheffield United goalkeeper, who's just been called up to the England squad to replace the injured Henderson. Price quoted there around 18 to 20 million that Sheffield United want for Ramsdale. Arsenal, obviously, a goalkeeper, potentially two goalkeepers are on the agenda for Arsenal. I've reported the interest previously in Andre Onana as well. I don't know if this Ramsdale stuff, I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything on it myself, but Charlie Wyatt is very experienced and has his contacts, so there's no reason to doubt him at all. It'd be an interesting one. Obviously, he's English, he's homegrown, which would be really, really important for Arsenal. I get the sense from the general reaction I've seen on social media to this one that not too many people would want Arsenal to be spending that sort of money on Aaron Ramsdale. Personally, my opinion on it, I would have to probably agree. I think you got a lot. If the price is around 18 to 20 million, I think Arsenal should be looking at spending that elsewhere rather than Ramsdale. I still think Andre Onana, you've got a potential fabulous deal there if you can get it done. The situation with Arsenal, it's a complicated one with the goalkeepers. I've talked about it before. With Leno's future unclear, he's not at the club at the moment. He's at the Euros, so it's tough to get anything sort of sorted with him. You don't know what's happening with the number two. We talked before about Matt Ryan, so the goalkeeping situation is a complicated one at Arsenal. And it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Honestly, just the goalkeepers is enough to keep Edu and Richard Garlick busy, let alone everything else you need to sort out in the squad. And that just shows the size of the scale of the task facing Arsenal this summer when it comes to their squad planning and squad building. So please do let me know what you think of these some of the latest transfer rumours. Would Aaron Ramsdale be a good signing for Arsenal? Is that something you would support? Or do you think they should look elsewhere in the goalkeeper department and spend a little bit less money perhaps and get someone in like Andre Onana, but then have to deal with not having him available for the first 3 months of the season? Do let me know your thoughts on that one. Always interested. And I'm sure you'll have plenty of thoughts on this latest speculation that came from the mighty AFC Bell on Twitter. I'm sure you all know of him or her or whoever is behind that account. We think it's quite a few different people. And yeah, they yesterday tweeted that Arsenal hold a significant interest in James Maddison at Leicester City. Now, that would be an exciting one. What would you think about that? Arsenal, we know, want a number 10. They've been looking at different players. Martin Odegaard was the priority, always has been. That appears like it might not be possible this summer. We're still waiting for the sort of final decision on that in terms of what Arsenal are going to do and what Real Madrid are going to be willing to do with Odegaard. I'm sure that will probably come through pretty quickly in terms of what their plan is for the Norway international. Arsenal really like Odegaard. They were really hopeful they were going to be able to get him back either potentially on loan for the season or see if they could do something in terms of a permanent transfer. Carlo Ancelotti's arrival there and Zinedine Zidane's departure has certainly complicated things in terms of an Arsenal point of view. I think they'd have had a much better chance had Zinedine Zidane remained at the club. Now we've got to work out exactly what Ancelotti is going to be doing, that he'll be talking with Real Madrid at the moment about exactly what he sees in the future that he sees for a lot of these players who potentially weren't getting too much game time under Zinedine Zidane. There was Buendia as well that Arsenal were interested in. They decided not to match what Aston Villa put in for him. And so there are other number 10s, and James Maddison is certainly an absolutely fantastic number 10. His numbers are great, scores goals, sets up goals. There's talk that he's potentially not seeing eye to eye with Brendan Rodgers at Leicester City at the moment, and potentially there could be an opportunity there for a club to go in and maybe get him out of the King Power Stadium. Now, I think it would take big money for that to happen. I haven't heard anything on it myself. Obviously, this has come from the AFC Bell. It's something I'll try and find anything out on if I can, but at the moment I haven't. I'm just talking and giving my opinion basically on the speculation, and it'd be a fabulous signing. I think we all like James Maddison. Excellent player. He's exactly the sort of player that Arsenal would need. He would improve Arsenal. There's no doubt about that. But it would take big money, even if he is at a little bit of loggerheads with Brendan Rodgers at the moment. Leicester are not going to let James Maddison go cheaply. And would Arsenal be able to afford to do something like that with them? Who knows? I mean, there is talk potentially that Leicester are interested in Ainsley Maitland-Niles again. Maybe there's something you could do there for a swap to certainly help lessen the amount of money you would have to pay to bring in someone like Maddison. But even though it feels a little bit of a push to me, but you never know. We'll have to wait and see what Arsenal are going to do in the market when it comes to how much money they're going to spend. We know they're interested in Ben White. I mean, he's going to come with a huge price tag as well if Arsenal can manage to get something done with Brighton for him. So there is potentially money there to be spent. It's just about getting a deal done and tempting other clubs to do it. So would James Maddison be a good signing? Please do let me know in the comments below. Now, I'm sure you've seen the Premier League fixtures that were announced today. They were very interesting. Not the best of starts for Arsenal. Always seems to get a difficult start at the moment. They've got Brentford away on the opening day as a promoted club again, like they had last season with Fulham. I think this is going to be an awful lot of a tougher test than Fulham were that day. I think Brentford away is going to be a tricky game for Arsenal. On the high they're going to have, the buzz they're going to have of being back, potentially full stadium. We'll have to wait and see if that is the case with the COVID rules, but potentially full stadium at their new stadium. It's going to be buzzing down there. Forgive the bees pun. And it's going to be tricky, but then it gets even harder for Arsenal. Second game, Chelsea at the Emirates. Third game, Manchester City away. So basically you're playing the two Champions League finalists in your first three games. I mean, for Mikel Arteta, who will be well aware that there's going to be an awful lot of spotlight on him going into the season. If he doesn't start well, that the pressure is going to increase very quickly. He would have been hoping, I think, for a quite nice start. There's not really an easy start in the Premier League. We know all the games are difficult and all that, but still you'd have been hoping for a bit of a nicer start, I think, than having to play Chelsea and Manchester City in the opening three games. After that, it's Norwich at home, Burnley away, and then Spurs at home. So you've got Chelsea, Man City and Spurs in the first 6 games of the season. Going to be difficult for Arsenal. They need to start the season well. They need to get a little bit of momentum just to take the pressure off and ease the pressure that could potentially grow on Mikel Arteta. So not ideal for him. I'm sure he would have preferred a little bit better start than that. The one plus point, obviously, Chelsea have got the most players of anyone at the Euros at the moment. They've also got the World Club Championship to deal with. And so, their squad potentially is not going to be anywhere near as ready as Arsenal's, who don't have many players at the Euros who can really focus on starting the Premier League well. So Chelsea are going to have a lot more disruption in that regard. Manchester City as well have also got a lot of players involved, so they could have a lot more disruption. So maybe it's better to get these games out of the way early than get them out of the way sort of midway through the season when everyone's fit and available for Arsenal, so for the rivals. So maybe that is the one plus point for Arsenal in that one. They finished the season with quite a nice run of fixtures, I would say. Southampton away, Manchester United home, West Ham away, Leeds home, Newcastle away, Everton home. So not the toughest of run-ins there. Yes, you got United, but at least they're at home. Yes, you got Leeds, at least they're at home. So not the most difficult of ending. It could have been worse for Arsenal. One disappointing thing is during the African Cup of Nations, when Arsenal potentially going to be without Aubameyang, Elneny, Thomas Partey, Nicolas Pepe, the North London derby falls in there. So all of those players will be missing against Spurs, and that is a blow. I think against North London derby, against Tottenham, you want everyone available to that, and potentially have Pepe, Partey and Aubameyang missing that one is certainly is a disappointing one for Arsenal. And I think that's the away game against Spurs as well. It makes it even more frustrating. That's about it for today's video. Thank you very much for your time as always. Please do, as I said, let me know what your thoughts are on what we discussed today on this one in the comments below. I love going through reading them. And until the next one, enjoy your day, everyone. Enjoy the Euros later on this evening, and I'll speak to you very soon. Bye bye.